The relationship grew strained over time, and Fotis Dulos became less and less involved in the day-to-day lives of his children. Whenever Jennifer attempted to address the issue directly, he would either refuse to engage or make it plain that he had no plans to sever ties with Michelle. That turning point shifted the entire dynamic. In June 2017, Jennifer filed for divorce and moved with their 5 children to New Canaan, hoping to start fresh. What was meant to be a well-organized temporary custody plan, complete with specific schedules and firm boundaries, quickly devolved into ongoing conflict. Virtually every aspect, from visitation times to extracurricular activities, sparked disputes. Jennifer advocated for routine and stability, striving to create a secure setting for the children. Fotis, however, focused on his own priorities, often disregarding court-ordered protocols and insisting on making unilateral decisions. Michelle, who had previously stayed out of sight, now emerged as a constant presence in Fotis' world. She shared his home, joined him on outings, and even showed up during child visits. To Jennifer, Michelle embodied the betrayal that had shattered her marriage, a living symbol of everything lost. For Fotis, she formed part of his emerging life, and he showed no interest in keeping that hidden. Jennifer pursued full custody with determination. She compiled records of repeated custody violations, outlined persistent emotional pressure, and claimed the children were being leveraged as negotiation tools. She further noted that the kids appeared exhausted from non-stop schedules and afraid of their father's outbursts. Court filings included worries about his capacity for violence and his ownership of firearms. After reviewing the material, the court declined to terminate Fotis' parental rights but enacted temporary restrictions. These curtailed his unsupervised time with the children and set rules for interactions with Jennifer. Jennifer also sought to bar Fotis' new partner, Michelle, along with Michelle's daughter, from any contact with the children. Fotis interpreted the rulings not as safeguards but as targeted assaults. He openly expressed his view that Jennifer was obstructing his bond with the kids. Statements later presented in witness accounts quoted him saying she shouldn't block him, that he would take the children no matter what, and that matters would conclude on his conditions. Jennifer's situation grew increasingly perilous. She confided in her lawyers and trusted contacts that she felt endangered and that Fotis' pressure was mounting. She voiced fears for her personal safety in formal submissions. Those declarations would prove vital in the subsequent investigation into her vanishing. Despite her alerts and the recorded history of hostility and threats, the court refrained from awarding Jennifer sole custody. Adjustments were made to visitation terms. Limits were placed, yet shared parenting endured. That hesitation, that unwillingness to act decisively on clear warning signs, would later be regarded as a devastating misstep. The courtroom clashes settled into a relentless loop of claims and rebuttals. With no resolution on the core concern, the children's safety, Jennifer kept gathering proof, fully conscious that the justice system wasn't delivering the security she required against someone she saw as a real danger. May 24, 2019, started as a routine day for Jennifer Dulos. She took the children to school that morning and returned home soon afterward. Surveillance video recorded her Chevrolet Suburban departing the area and re-entering around 8:05 a.m. Those frames marked the last verified sighting of her at the property. She had appointments lined up, including medical visits in New York City and a later get-together with her mother, but she never showed. As time passed without contact, alarms set in. Jennifer stopped answering calls. Texts went unread. No updates reached anyone. The nanny raised the first red flag. She was due to take over around noon, but after unanswered attempts to reach Jennifer, she alerted Jennifer's mother. By nightfall, the gravity became undeniable, and relatives notified authorities. A key clue emerged quickly: Jennifer's vehicle, that same black Suburban, turned up parked at Wavani Park, miles from her residence. Inside the SUV, traces of blood were detected. Video evidence showed the vehicle returning to her garage post-school drop-off. Yet it departed again later, this time without her visible. When officers reached the Dulos home, focus zeroed in on the garage. What they uncovered there transformed the inquiry. Bloodstains, not small spots, but substantial pools, marked the floor. Splatter dotted the walls, smears stained the car door, and signs indicated cleanup attempts. Streaks and white patterns stood out plainly, even before forensic tools arrived. Still, no evidence pointed to a break-in. No shattered locks. No forced doors. This implied Jennifer had either permitted entry or the intruder already possessed access. Investigators collected blood evidence, later verified as Jennifer's. Within the home, further unsettling findings surfaced. Furniture appeared shifted, with marks suggesting resistance. All signs converged on a chilling reality: the violence unfolded inside her own garage. From there, detectives pulled neighborhood surveillance. But the path extended beyond New Canaan. That same evening, May 24, Fotis Dulos and Michelle Troconis appeared in Hartford. Cameras filmed their vehicle pausing at several points along Albany Avenue near commercial trash bins. Footage captured a man discarding multiple garbage bags. A woman, identified as Michelle, placed an item on the curb. Authorities searched those receptacles and recovered disturbing contents. Numerous articles surfaced: blood-stained women's clothing, sponges soaked in apparent biological fluids, zip ties, ropes, gloves. DNA analysis linked many items to Jennifer. Towels, napkins, fabric scraps held biological traces. Among the most damning were a t-shirt and undergarments tied to Jennifer, bearing her blood and DNA. Certain pieces also carried male DNA consistent with Fotis. This evidence directly implicated him in the aftermath. Video clearly documented Michelle Troconis' participation. In one clip, she discards what proved to be a blood-drenched sponge. In another, she observes as Fotis tosses bags into a dumpster. Her active role in evidence disposal became irrefutable. What they discarded wasn't ordinary refuse but crucial forensic material. Over 30 trash bags were retrieved from various dumpsters along the path. Each was meticulously catalogued, revealing blood and DNA residues. Investigators concluded these were intentional steps to eliminate traces tied to the assault items too risky to retain at the residence or in the vehicle. Those discoveries anchored the probe. They established the brutal character of Jennifer's disappearance and connected Fotis, Michelle, and the concealment efforts. Though Jennifer's remains stayed missing, the DNA ties bridged the garage scene to the Hartford materials. This formidable evidence prompted initial formal accusations. According to authorities, preparations started the previous night. In the pre-dawn hours of May 23 into May 24, 2019, Fotis Dulos entered a business property in Farmington. He took a Toyota Tacoma pickup owned by an employee to obscure his movements and complicate surveillance identification. He altered his look, shaving his head, donning different attire to mimic the owner. He deliberately left his phone at home so its location data would pin him in Farmington. That morning, Michelle Troconis and attorney Kent Mawani were at the residence. Michelle later conceded she fielded incoming calls from Greece to Fotis' phone, bolstering the ruse. Around 5:35 a.m., Fotis departed Farmington in the stolen truck, bicycle in tow. Upon reaching New Canaan, he parked the Tacoma near Wavani Park. A bus driver later placed the vehicle there. He then switched to the bike, navigating backyards and quiet paths to Jennifer's home, evading primary roads and cameras. He gained entry without damage. His DNA appeared on the front doorknob and a kitchen faucet, where a blend of his and Jennifer's DNA surfaced. A neighbor's camera caught Jennifer arriving home after drop-off at 8:05 a.m. The attack took place in the garage. Fotis lingered inside for an extended interval, committing the act and initiating cleanup. Implements and supplies used were removed. Authorities believe Jennifer's body, along with blood-soaked articles, went into her Chevrolet Suburban. Fotis drove it to Wavani Park, where the Tacoma waited. The Suburban remained about 40 minutes, sufficient to transfer remains and evidence between vehicles while scanning surroundings. Police scoured the park extensively for burial signs but uncovered none. Fotis then headed north in the Tacoma. By 12:22 p.m., it reappeared in Farmington. At 1 p.m., he reunited with Michelle. Prosecutors assert they spent the day at his residence organizing items for disposal. That night, despite mild weather, a fire burned in the fireplace, likely to incinerate select materials. Later, Fotis and Michelle traveled to Hartford along Albany Avenue, halting repeatedly to discard bags and objects into containers. Cameras recorded each pause, action, and item type. 5 days post-disappearance, the Tacoma received deep cleaning. Seats were extracted. Fotis instructed an employee, Powell, to discard them, citing coffee stains. Powell retained them instead. Tests later detected Jennifer's blood on the seats. On May 24, Powell visited Fotis' home twice and noted details that proved significant. The Tacoma keys, initially in the door, vanished. Aside from Michelle, no one else occupied the house. Fotis later requested Michelle fetch the keys, suggesting her use of the truck during key hours. The phone tactic formed part of a deliberate evasion plan. Fotis' device remained at his Farmington home. Michelle handled an overseas call to simulate his presence. Further deception occurred at 7:47 p.m. Amid bag disposals, a call from Fotis' phone to Kent Maloney appeared in records. Michelle Troconis' involvement evolved sharply after Albany Avenue footage review. What seemed peripheral shifted to direct participation in evidence hiding. Her police interviews contained shifting narratives. Across 3 sessions, she revised her story repeatedly. She first claimed awakening with Fotis on May 24, staying together, him retreating to the office. She later conceded his absence. Initially denying involvement in movements, she admitted riding with Fotis around town. Confronted with video of her tossing an object curbside, she said it was gum on her fingers, despite clear footage of an item thrown. She framed the evening as a casual outing or real estate prep, clashing with vehicle GPS and dumpster contents. Authorities saw these shifts as purposeful deflection, signaling active complicity. Scrutiny then turned to Kent Maloney, a close associate and attorney for Fotis. Records placed him at Fotis' home that morning. He first denied attendance, then admitted arriving around 7:40 a.m., lingering 40 to 50 minutes, departing after failing to contact Fotis. Explaining further, he cited a staircase fall the next day, broken phone, and partial amnesia preventing device surrender or recall. A notable find, phone logs showed a 7:47 p.m. call from Fotis' device to Maloney during disposals. Maloney claimed no memory of it. A troubling detail emerged linking Maloney to a remote hunting property he co-owned. Pre-disappearance, a freshly excavated hole appeared there, concealed by branches and a grill grate, containing lime bags. Post-vanishing, bags vanished and the hole filled. No remains surfaced in searches. Yet timing and setup raised disposal suspicions. This prompted re-evaluation of Maloney's ex-wife's prior reports of domestic abuse and fears about his ties to Fotis. Her pre-disappearance concerns now seemed foreboding. Based on accumulated proof, authorities outlined roles. Fotis masterminded and executed core actions. Michelle supplied alibis, manipulated location info, and aided concealment. Maloney served as legal advisor, providing cover, confirming presence at pivotal moments, possibly facilitating the hunting site. Inconsistencies in Michelle's and Maloney's accounts, device withholding, memory lapses, and timeline mismatches reinforced coordinated involvement. At the conspiracy's core stood Fotis Dulos, Michelle Troconis, and Kent Maloney. Even absent remains, prosecutors constructed a persuasive account of premeditation, execution, and cover-up, supported by video, records, and forensics. January 28, 2020, loomed as pivotal. An urgent bond revocation hearing occurred in Hartford. Prosecutors sought immediate detention for Fotis Dulos. For him, it represented a critical juncture. A ruling against him meant incarceration that day. Fotis planned to attend with Anna Curry, a former associate and companion, but requested separate drives to meet at court. Anna departed first but soon received an alarming call from one of Fotis' lawyers. His ankle monitor GPS indicated no movement from his Farmington home, contradicting arrangements. Anna attempted contact. Silence. Sensing trouble, she alerted emergency responders. They reached the residence swiftly. The garage door stayed shut. Inside, a vehicle idled, engine running. Fotis Dulos sat in the driver's seat, unresponsive. Carbon monoxide filled the space, oxygen levels had plummeted critically. Nearby rested photos of his 5 children, suggesting intent. Paramedics initiated CPR on site, applying oxygen and defibrillation. They revived a pulse, but he remained grave. Airlifted to a facility with hyperbaric capabilities, despite intensive care over 2 days, recovery proved impossible. Fotis Dulos passed on January 30, 2020, never regaining awareness. A note surfaced in the vehicle, a final statement. In it, Fotis rejected wrongdoing. He declared unwillingness to spend even an hour jailed for an offense he denied. He also asserted Michelle Troconis and Kent Mawhinney bore no involvement in Jennifer Dulos' disappearance. That document fueled fierce contention. Defense cited it as proof of misguided pursuit. Authorities maintained it failed to undermine robust physical proof, footage, DNA links, records, and witnesses. Public opinion split sharply. Fotis relatives described him as overwhelmed by accusations' weight. For investigators, losing their chief suspect hindered further interrogation and resolution. With Fotis deceased, pursuit shifted to Michelle Troconis and Kent Mawhinney, though the 5 children faced profound aftermath. Following Fotis' death, custody settled with maternal grandmother Gloria Farber. Just prior, the children visited the hospital hoping for farewell, but consciousness never returned. January 28 exposed the case's vulnerability. Its central figure opted for death over proceedings, leaving denials and, most agonizingly, no resolution to the enduring question: what became of Jennifer Dulos? Post-Fotis, scrutiny intensified on associates. Michelle Troconis faced trial first. Her 2020 proceedings encountered multiple postponements from pandemic effects and evidence disputes, heightening public focus on her May 24, 2019, actions. Prosecutors contended she aided evidence destruction and fabricated alibis, highlighting inconsistent police statements. Defense depicted her as misled, unaware of full implications, merely complying with Fotis. The jury disagreed. In January 2024, Michelle Troconis was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and hindering prosecution, affirming her role in concealing Jennifer Dulos' fate. In May 2024, she received 14.5 years imprisonment. The court emphasized her deliberate, sustained participation in the cover-up. Kent Mawhinney's case proceeded separately. His name recurred throughout Michelle's trial, tied to the wider alleged plot. Michelle's conviction represented the initial sentencing linked to Jennifer's disappearance. Its signaled accountability persisted absent remains. For the public, it affirmed the extended inquiry yielded results. Yet for Jennifer's family, closure stayed incomplete. The central enigma, her body's location, lingered. After the vanishing, Jennifer's 5 children entered temporary care under grandmother Gloria Farber. Fotis' death made it permanent. Beyond essentials like shelter, schooling, medical needs, and emotional guidance, the family shielded them from relentless media exposure while fostering routine. Gloria's age posed challenges in raising 5 adolescents, demanding substantial stamina and support. Networks of educators, therapists, and doctors formed. Activities helped preserve normalcy. Mental health received priority, aiding processing of maternal loss, case trauma, and scrutiny. Legal and financial matters required attention, preserving estate claims, planning for potential health declines. Jennifer's missing remains complicated inheritance and long-term security. In 2023, Jennifer Dulos received legal death declaration. This enabled completion of vital processes, including children's property entitlements. For Gloria, it shifted from interim to permanent guardianship, establishing trusts, naming successors, structuring education and health funding. Years elapsed since Jennifer vanished. The fundamental question endures: where is her body? Authorities reconstructed likely events. One participant stands convicted, others named formally. Yet her resting place eludes discovery. Without remains, final details, exact circumstances, precise cause remain elusive. For Jennifer's family, unresolved anticipation persists. Courts granted custody stability and death recognition, but emotionally the narrative stays open. No funeral occurred, no gravesite exists for mourning. The missing body represents more than procedural hurdle, it perpetuates grief and doubt. As of now, one cover-up figure serves sentence. Another awaits full resolution, but the question overshadows all. Where is Jennifer? The search continues. Investigators chase every thread, however slight. Their effort transcends justice, seeking a site for the children to honor their mother, find solace, and know she endures in memory. If this case captured your interest, remember to like the video and subscribe the Hidden Cases Files. We deliver true crime stories nightly. Until next time, stay alert, stay aware.